I'm a salesperson, and I love talking to people. Gralin, he talks to everybody. He's a talker.
He does.
And very mature for his age.
Sassy.
We're not even going to go there.
Welcome to Clearing the Path with Will, the podcast where we dive into real stories behind entrepreneurs, where we started, the challenges we faced, and the lessons we've learned. Taking a deeper look into the journey, talking with other entrepreneurs who are out here making it happen. Having everything set in place was my biggest stepping stone.
Meeting one person could lead to many other things, Really, don't be afraid to walk up and shake one person's hand. Welcome back to Clearing the Path with Will and Gralin. Today we're going to dive deep into all the aspects of insurance you need in a business. Today I have my mom, who's been doing insurance for 21 years, on to give us these tips and tricks about insurance. Mom, you want to introduce yourself?
My name is Carrie Bryd, and Gralin is my son. And I've been doing insurance with North Carolina Farm Bureau for 26 years. And that's about it. I have grown, seen both of you grow in your business and everything you've done. And
What made you want to get into insurance?
well, first of all, I didn't, expect going into insurance from the very beginning. I went to college for hospitality management. I thought that I was going to work in a hotel at a resort on the beach and be happy. But then I got married and realized that working those long hours, working because a hotel is open 24 hours, working those hours and my husband off when I was working, I didn't really like it. Mm-hmm. So I just went through the paper. We used to get paper a long time ago, and they had an ad for Farm Bureau in that paper. And I was like, well, my family's always had Farm Bureau insurance. I was like, that's a good company. I'll just start there because I like talking to people and had no clue what insurance was about. But went and interviewed with a gentleman by the name of Sid Sauls, and just hit it off. And here I am 26 years later.
Did you think you would stay in it this long, or?
No.
No.
Any job's stressful. Any job you do. So if you work the 8 to 5 job, it's going to be stressful. Everything's going to be stressful. But the more I got into it, the more talking to people, meeting people, and I feel like most of my clients are like my family. Mm-hmm. They call me and they have referred their family to me from, a long time ago. So I like that family environment.
It's almost like you own your own business, right? That's how insurance works, kind of, or?
Well, I do work for Farm Bureau, but I am self-employed.
Right.
So I do own my own business. So I do get those phone calls all hours of the night and on the weekends and stuff like that. But that's okay. I enjoy it.
You love it.
I love talking to people, and I've been to a house fire at 6 o'clock in the morning holding the client's hand, and helping them. And I like helping people.
Right.
Well, I want to ask you, from when you first started in the insurance business to today, what is a big difference, or what are some of the key things that have changed since then?
I don't know if it's the I'm Johnston County mainly is where I am, but I have clients all over in North Carolina. But the environment has changed. When I first started, people, they weren't like, they didn't want it right then and there.
Mm-hmm.
And in this day and time, people, if you don't call them back within, like, they're expecting 10 minutes, you
Mm-hmm.
know, or something like that, it's more demanding,
Right.
I feel. Because when I first started, it was more of that, uh, you know, patience, and, you know, the people were more patient, and they understood if you didn't call them right back. So uh, I guess the society is more demanding, but that's okay.
How did it affect like raising Gralin and his sister and
Oh,
like trying to have a work home balance is
it was very stressful. Lots of prayers.
right.
Lots and lots of prayers. I uh, I was late everywhere I went because I was flying in on two wheels, and it's just I wear many hats. You know, I wanted to make sure my children got to their, you know, ball practices, and got to where they needed to be, and I just made it happen. And I don't know how,
Yes,
but I did.
So I want to ask you, our with us being in business, what kind of insurance should we need? You know, I'm starting out a business and I don't know anything about insurance. I was to go into your office and say, "Hey, Miss Carrie, I'm starting this business. What kind of insurance do I need?" What would you say? And, you know, what are some of the steps along the way you would help us get to that point?
Well, not all businesses are cookie cutter, you know. So I would first ask you, tell me a little bit about your business. What are you doing? Are you going to have a building, people coming in and out? Or are you going to have trucks? Are you going to have employees, or is it just going to be you by yourself, you know, at the beginning? So I'll get to know you first, what your business is, and we'll talk it through. But the main thing that you would need in a business is workers' comp, to protect your workers, and that's based upon payroll. So we would need to know what you're estimating the payroll will be around. And general liability protects you for something goes wrong on the job, somebody gets hurt, or it could be a number of things. So there are the two main things that you would do. But then also you have a thing called an inland marine policy, and that's your equipment, because your equipment don't stay at your office.
Right.
It with the jobs that y'all two do. So you would have the inland marine coverage of for theft, vandalism, fire, different things on your equipment. Um, and then you could go into, if you had a building, you would insure the building and the contents inside. So there's different things. On the back end, you could life insurance is a big thing, because you have all this debt, or if you're first starting out and things like that.
And workers' comp, me and Gralin, we got a story together. We were doing a big job off in Raleigh, and I was about to go on a cruise, and Gralin, you know how his nerves get, he gets all all over the place. And I was trying to help him out and line up the tree guy. And it was the day before the job. I was leaving the next morning too, and the tree guy that we were gonna use, um, I made a mistake of not getting everything up front, and I got his what do you have, general liability, and then he didn't have workers comp, and I texted him the night of, before before the job was starting, and he was like, I don't have workers comp.
Mm.
And so I was like, oh my gosh, because I mean, I can't go work for a big commercial builder without workers comp. I can't be on other people's job sites. So the people that your subs, I feel like they have to have it, right? Or what would happen if I was to use him, and at the end of the year during the audit, what
What would happen?
yeah.
So So first of all, when you bring on your subcontractors from your job, because you can't do everything.
Right.
So you might call that tree guy or that landscaper or anything like that. You want to make sure that they have a workers' comp and general liability certificate. And the insurance company can provide that. So you want to make sure that they provide that to you, showing they have it. If they did not have that, and at the end of the year, when you have your audit, and it's not like an IRS audit or anything like that, it's an insurance audit. And so they're going to go back and look at your payroll and what you've paid, through your account. And if they were showing this tree guy and he didn't have a certificate showing he had that insurance, you would be charged on your workers' comp for a tree guy.
Yeah, 'cause it was what, Gralin, like a $10,000 tree job.
It was probably a $10 or $12,000 tree job, and not to say it was, on one of the busiest roads in Wake County. And we just, it comes to a point where we can't have that because the smallest thing would have gone wrong on that site. It could have ruined our relationship with the customer, and then like you say, with the audit of the insurance, it would have just been a disaster all the way around. So I mean, that's a really big thing in this, is making sure when you do have subcontractors, they have the proper insurance and the proper things in place to get the job done correctly, instead of calling somebody off the side of the road that's cheaper. Cheaper is not always better. And you see, we paid what we got. We paid for what we got versus if we were.
It put me in a bind though, because I priced it off his price, and so he priced it something crazy like $3,000, and then a professional came, a guy that we use all the time, and priced it at 10.
And that, I felt like that was
But it was a good learning.
a good learning lesson for both of us, because we might have taken a little bit of a hit on that job, but we learned so much from it. And it was, we were either going to take the hit or we were going to go back to that contractor and say it's going to be $6,000 more, and then he's going to say, well, the heck with y'all, I'll find somebody else.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just sometimes you've got to pan those things out and say, is it worth this, or is it just worth that? And I think the best thing about it was we learned a lesson.
As a new business owner, would you recommend that person like shopping around and going and meeting people in person, or is there like a thing where you can just buy stuff online?
You can buy insurance online. They have 1-800 numbers you can call up.
Right.
But you don't have that personal agent. With me working for Farm Bureau, you have that personal agent to call or come into my office, or, mostly all my clients have my cell phone number, so they call me personally. But cheaper's not always better. You're going to get that service. For instance, if you did have a fire claim, do you want your agent that you talk to every day to show up, or do you want
Some guy you don't know.
right?
Yeah.
Because you got your insurance. We call it the 1-800 number.
Yeah.
So cheaper's not always better.
I'll say, with me having insurance, the 1-800 number is very much an inconvenience, because every time I need something, a lot of my jobs, I have to send copy of my insurance and stuff like that out. So I'm having to call the Farm Bureau office, and every time I call, it's somebody that lives in Johnson County within 15 minutes from that office, and it's always a real person. You're not, let me put you on hold or anything like that. So I think that's one of the other big things people don't see about the insurance, because as much as I deal with the insurance company, and I know y'all deal with the insurance company quite often, it would put a big toll on us if we had to call a 1-800 number rather than calling that person directly or calling their office number and getting directly on the phone with them. What's the biggest mistake you've seen a small business make, or a business in general, insurance wise?
They'll hire an employee that has a bad record, and they'll put it on their business auto policy, and it'll affect their rates and things like that. So I always recommend to run, before you hire a new employee, before you hire them, to go ahead and get their driver's license and run it and see like that. Another mistake that a new person might make is underestimate their payroll because general liability and workers' comp is based on payroll. So they have to give us an estimate of how much it, costs. So you need to keep looking at your numbers throughout the year. Is my payroll more than what I told my insurance agent? Because once they do that audit, you could have a big, amount you would have to pay.
Another question I had: as my business grows, what insurance changes?
All of it.
All of it.
Mm-hmm. If you're not meeting with your insurance agent when you first start out, you might want to meet with them every 6 months. And then a year after that, and just say, hey, and it might be a quick phone call.
Right.
You might want to say, hey, this is what we're projecting. Are we still in line what we have now? So I tell my clients, call me. I want to discuss this. So we know what's going on.
Let me ask, with an entrepreneur and something as giving benefits, you get to a certain point where you start giving insurance and benefits and other things to your employees. When do you know it's the right position to do that? Or when do you know, it's the time to do that?
That's a hard question, because
That is a hard question.
like my guys always, they know, there's 10 or 12 of us, or half of them might not want to do it, and then the other half does.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be it wouldn't be worth it. So watching Gralin grow his business, what was, you think, your favorite milestone that he did that you got to see?
My favorite is when he first got his first real job and did it for, like a contractor, and he got paid on it.
Oh, yeah.
And just the smile on his face just warmed my heart.
Yeah.
It made me happy. When he's happy, I'm happy,
Yes,
because Gralin and you are hard workers.
Yes, ma'am.
And in this generation, I don't see that in all people. I mean, both of you are up at 5 o'clock in the morning and you're out working and doing things. And I'm very proud of both of you. I don't see that, because I meet with a lot of people in insurance, and I do meet with people y'all's age, and I don't see the drive that both of you have.
Yes, ma'am. Has you and Gralin's career, do they ever overlap?
Well, I'm a salesperson. I sell insurance. And I love talking to people.
Right.
I'm a talker. Might not make any sense, but I love to talk.
Yes, ma'am.
But Gralin, he talks to everybody. He's a talker.
He does.
And very mature for his age.
Sassy.
We're not even gonna go there.
No,
but
he's got an attitude. You can never hang up before he does. He don't even say bye. He'll say, all right, and hang up. Every time. But sorry, off topic.
But just make sure you feed him all the time.
Oh yeah.
Because he gets very hangry and But what were we saying again? About sales.
Yes,
So it does overlap. I guess he has seen me go out making cold calls and going out and trying to get business. And I've even knocked on people's doors and asked them for their business. So I guess he has seen that growing up. And he don't mind talking to people and selling and trying to get their business.
Mom, I wanted to ask you, what is one of the most or one of the worst insurance myths you've ever heard?
That one I just told you.
Yeah. I mentioned a little bit about life insurance, but the myth that I hear people with me selling life insurance is I'm never going to die.
Oh God.
People say that they'll never need life insurance. So
Why do they
that
say that? They just
because they don't want to talk to me.
think
Life
about it.
insurance is like love insurance. You're leaving it for your family,
Yeah.
your love, So why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah.
You must not love your family, or something. And the younger you are, the less expensive it is. So why wouldn't you do it when you were young? But anyway, that's a big myth. There's other myths, but that's a big one.
I want to thank you so much for coming in today with us and breaking down all the aspects of insurance and everything that you're able to take on and cover. And I want you to continue to help us out in every possible way. And we, like I say again, we thank you, both of us, in every which way possible. And we just hope to continue growing together. And we're very thankful.
I'm very thankful for both of you. And like I said, I'm very proud of you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So going into this, you need to always make sure that you're covered. And see you on the next episode. Do you like that? You're covered. Get it?